All right, here we go with This Week in History, a trivia style. Question number one. On March 31st, 1889, what iconic structure was officially opened to the public of Paris? Iconic structure in Paris that opened on March 31st, 1889. I'm going to let you think about it, and if you want to guess, you can guess, or you can wait for the multiple choices. Now, I am dealing with about a 40-second delay on Facebook. I don't know why. It's not like I have a cough button. In radio, we have this thing called a cough button, and you set it up so it gives you like a 30-second bank. So if you you want to cough or something like that, you just hit the button and it'll pause that 30 seconds and you can recover. They give you a delay on Facebook, but there's no cough button involved. So Mr. Taney has already piped in with the Rifle Tower. And then he corrected it to the Eiffel. That is one of the options. The options that you have available to you are the Notre Dame Cathedral, which is almost completely rebuilt, the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, or the Arc de Triomphe. The cool thing about the Arc de Triomphe is there's an elevator that takes you to the top, and you can get a really cool view of Paris from the top of the Arc de Triomphe, which looks down the Champs-Élysées. I took my wife to Paris, and I am still happy that I was able to do that. On March 31st, 1889, what iconic structure was opened to the Parisians in Paris? The Notre Dame Cathedral, the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, or the Arc de Triomphe? Even though I think the Arc de Triomphe is cool, I was also at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and that was also cool, and I am also going to go with Tower de Eiffel. I fell! April 1st is widely considered as April Fool's Day. Which of the following best describes its origin? What is the origin story behind April Fools? Let's find out what our options are and guess from there. Was it a celebration of the vernal equinox? Unlikely. Was it a commemoration of court jesters? Yeah, most of those were murdered. Court jester was not a long-term career choice. Was it a day marking the adoption of the Gregorian calendar? Or was it a medieval festival known as the Feast of Fools? Probably not going to go 7 for 7 this week. I want to go 7 for 7. I'm going to make an educated guess. I think it would be hilarious if it was if the backstory on April Fool's Day was a commemoration of the adoption of the Gregorian calendar. Yeah. Because could you imagine? All right, there's never been an April Fool's Day. Yeah, I'm really thinning right there. Can you imagine there's never been an April Fool's Day before? And then, the guy comes to you and goes like, no, whoa. We're changing the calendar. And the guy's like, yeah, no, we're not changing. Oh, James is going with the vernal equinox. I'm still on my story here about the adoption of the Gregorian calendar. No, seriously. Starting tomorrow, we're changing the calendar. And we're not changing. Who changes calendars? Nobody. The Mayans, maybe, only because theirs run out, But who changes calendars? No, seriously, dude. We're changing calendars starting tomorrow. I think that had the potential of being the greatest April Fool's Day joke ever. Because you had to get a lot of buy-in from a whole bunch of people. Because no matter who you told that to, then they would go to other people and like, I heard we're changing calendars. I'm like, yeah, exciting day tomorrow. We're changing calendars. So for the fun of it, although I think it may be a medieval festival known as the Feast of Fools, I think it may be that, but I'm choosing the answer that really touches me, and it's the adoption of the Gregorian calendar. That's where I think the backstory of April Fool's is. On April 2nd, 2020, on April 2nd, 2005, which prominent religious leader passed away, leading to a significant period of mourning? Okay, Mr. Taney is trying to change his answer, but you can't do that. Blackjack, no trade back. You chose Equinox. You're sticking with Equinox. I chose calendar. That's what separates mice from men, sir. April 2nd, 2005. Who died? What prominent religious leader died? I know exactly where I was when he died. I could tell you this, on my actual birthday was the day he fell ill in 2005. And he stuck around for a little bit, but he actually passed. I know who this is. Mr. Taney is going with Queen Elizabeth. I don't know why he would think she is a prominent religious leader. A significant period of mourning. Here are your options. Was it Paolo Giovanni II, Pope John Giovanni Paolo II, the Polak in charge of the Roman Catholic Church? Was it Pope John Paul II? Was it Archbishop Desmond Tutu? Was it the Dalai Lama, which is kind of like Menudo? Like whenever the Dalai Lama dies, they put a new one in place, and he is the Dalai Lama. So that's like a position. Or was it Mother Teresa? Was it Pope John Paul II, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the Dalai Lama, or Mother Teresa? Who died on April the 2nd, 2005? What prominent religious leader died on that day? I know the answer, and I'm waiting for you to answer, because I don't want you stealing my answer. Oh, I got 5 minutes. Yes, I agree with Mr. Taney. It was Pope John Paul II. Moving on, question number 4. The Marshall Plan, aimed at rebuilding Europe after World War II, was signed into law by U.S. President Harry S. Truman. On what day? Now, we know the day is somewhere in the last 7 days is when these questions are written. So you got 7 choices to choose from. It's somewhere between April 6th and March 31st. Yes. I love that you pay attention. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Here are your options. Was it April 3rd, 1948, May 8th, 1945, June 6th, 1944, or July 4th, 1947? The Marshall Plan was signed into law by U.S. President Harry S. Truman on what day? All right, immediately we're going to take June 6th, 1944 out. Gone, because that's D-Day. It's not that. July 4th, July 4th, I see your comment. July 4th, 1947. I don't believe we would have done it on American Independence Day, as cool as that may be. Oh, wait. The answer is April 3rd, 1948. The answer is April 3rd, 1948. I say confidently, even though I do not know the answer, but I do know the parameters of the questions. And it was this last week in history, and only one of them wins. So I'm looking good for 7 for 7. We'll find out soon. Question number 5. Civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April the 4th of what year? Bonus points if you can name his assassin. Taney is going with 48. Yeah. April the 3rd, 1948. Civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April the 4th of what year? Bonus points if you can name his assassin. The options to you are 1965, 1968, 1970, or 1963. If I've ever taught you anything about how to take an exam, I teach you that the hardest part about writing a multiple choice exam is coming up with the wrong answers. So generally, you have the right answer, and then you need to come up with 3 wrong answers. And the way you do that is usually one that's higher, one that's lower, and one that's kind of close. So the one that's highest is 1970. The one that's lowest is 1963. I'm removing them from the possibility of my answer. That leaves me with 1965 and 1968. I believe it was 1968. I believe it was 1968. That's my answer. Your options are 1965, 1968, 1970, or 1963. Mr. Taney is going with 63 and believes that we did this question a couple of weeks ago. Question number 6. On April 5th, 1818, Chile's independence movement secured a decisive victory against Spanish forces in what battle? In what battle did Chile's defensive forces defeat the Spanish? And I am not going to pronounce any of these correct. All right, he's sticking with 65. The Battle of Chacabuco, the Battle of Maipú, the Battle of Rancagua, or the Battle of Santiago. I am solely choosing my answer on the one that was easiest for me to pronounce. I'm going with the Battle of Santiago, although the Battle of Maipú is a good one too. April 5th, 1818, Chile's independence movement secured a decisive victory against Spanish forces in what battle? I chose the Battle of Santiago. What is your choice? What are you choosing? And finally, question number 7. You're so busy talking about questions of the past, you didn't give me an answer for the question I just gave you. Stop arguing with me, sir. Patrick, handle your dad. Santiago. All right, I got your answer. All right, finally, the United States entered World War I by declaring war on Germany on what day? The United States entered World War I by declaring war on Germany on what day? Again, here are your options. November the 11th, 1918. It wasn't November the 11th, 1918. That's another day in history. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Yeah, that day. June 28th, 1914. May 7th, 1915. Or April 6th, 1917. What day did the United States declare war on Germany during World War I? I can't wait too long for your answers because I have to go, and Chick Brew is waiting. Let's just put it that way. And I don't like to keep her waiting. She keeps on waiting on the world to change. My answer is April the 6th, 1917. What is your answer? Is it April the 6th? Is it May the 7th of 1915? Is it June 28th of 1914? He's going with 1914. June 28th, 1914. June. In a This Week in History trivia style, for the last week, you went with June 1914. Patrick, tell your dad to put down the computer or whatever he's drinking. There are my answers. I hope you got yours in. Now let's see if we went 7 for 7. The answers are Number 1 was the Tower d'Eiffel. Number 2 was a medieval festival known as the Feast of Fools. I still think Gregorian calendar was funny. That's why I went with it. But I did believe it doesn't count. I got it. I'm not going 7 for 7. Doesn't count. I did believe that this was the correct answer, but I chose the Gregorian one because it spoke to me. It was Pope John Paul II that died in 2005. I know. I was in Sigonella when he died, and it was everybody was getting text messages, and this is before smartphones really took off. But the entire country was getting text messages about Pope John Paul II's passing, and things going on in the Vatican City, and the conclave. It was all in text message. It was crazy. The entire country was getting those text messages. The first date thing that came up, I forgot what the question was. Question number 4, the Marshall Plan was signed into existence on, go figure, April the 3rd, 1948. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 1968. Did you? Oh, thank you, Michael Schumacher, for the nice shirt compliment. The 1968 was Martin Luther King Jr. I gave you an option for extra points if you could name his assassin. And if you don't know, his assassin's name was James Earl Ray. Number 6, another one I got wrong because I didn't know how to pronounce it correctly, but it was, in fact, the Battle of Maipu. I'll never forget that one. And finally, when did we go to war with Germany for World War I? It was April 1967. Oh, 1917. It would be way late. It would be way late if we did it in whatever I said the first time. April the 6th, 1917. Yeah, and when we're doing anything that involved dates in the last week, it would be, yes, I know you're in the studio, Chick Brew. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for this week. Thanks for playing along on the supplemental. Michael Schumacher is somehow texting from his hospital bed, is asking me who is my favorite driver. It was you. You were the greatest ever. I love you so much. Get better soon. All right, I got to wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you today as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you could be. If you were a great person today, be an even better person tomorrow. Getting ready to tape the show with Chick Brew. We missed out on an episode last week because things happen. 67 was your first. 67 was not even an option. It was not an option. Stop arguing with me. You're very argumentative today. I took away 70 because it was the largest. I took away 63 because it was the smallest. And I chose between 65 and 68, and I chose 68. I only went 5 for 5. But I can't argue with you any further. Yeah, I said the thing I need to say. Take care, everybody. If you want to hear more kookiness, be sure to check out the Lunsby Show. You can find the Lunsby Show by searching the hashtag LUNSB, the Lunsby Show. Love you.